Are you starting a home service business this year? Or what about a construction business? Well, this video will be the only video that you need to watch in order to be successful right out of the gate. So I would suggest that you save this video so that you can come back to it as you start implementing all these steps. I'm Ben, and I have started two construction companies. The first one, I did everything the hard way, and it cost me tens of thousands of dollars to where I got to the boiling point of just not wanting to do it anymore. So I jumped ship and just went into sales. And I did $2 million in sales. And all of a sudden, I had these customers calling me back from my previous business wanting me to do work. So I started out on my new business again and implementing all the right steps, and now have grown that construction company over 7 figures. So this video is for you who are starting your business. You have mastered a trade and now you want to endeavor to go out there on your own. This may not be for you who are a marketing company or a franchise company. Some of these tips and points will be helpful, but this mainly is going to be for the guy that's doing the thing, but this wants to grow a business and start off on the right foot. So this video will be a step-by-step guide of all the right steps of what to do the right way so that you can be successful right away and see yourself making 6 figures in your first year. So the number one thing we need to do right now is we need to have a business name. And a business name, I want you to think about it. I want you to think a little bit harder than just making up a random name, because I want you to think long term. What are your goals? What are you thinking of 5, 10, 15 years from now? If this business that you're starting is completely successful, and in 10 years from now, maybe you're worth a few $1,000,000 and you can sell it, what should your business name be? So thinking about a business name and not just being a random business name, needs to have a little bit of thought into this. So think about it. Talk to your wife, maybe talk to some friends, have a couple ideas, even ask ChatGPT now, of just good business names, something that's identifiable. Don't be something random. Like you see some of these big time construction companies with this one word that doesn't make any sense. Well, guess what? They've established themselves over the years that now they can have a name like that. You who are just starting, you need to be very clear on what your name is. Imagine you driving and you're looking at a work van, a work truck, and you see a name. Have you seen that? Are you thinking about the van right now? And you're sitting in traffic looking at the back of the van and you're wondering, what the heck does that person even do? Are you thinking about that company right now? This is what I do not want for you. I do not want you to have some random name that nobody knows what you're doing, especially when you're just starting off. You need to be so clear on what you do that as if I see you for a split second and I see your name on the van, oh, cool, they're a contractor, or they're a painter, they're a roofer, a landscaper. They house cleaner. I need a house cleaner. I know right away, and I can find that number or look your name up on Google, and then now I can find you and give you a call. This is random, but also if you think about it and you start driving around now as after you watch this, you're going to notice a lot of random names that don't make sense to what the business actually does, or you have no idea what these people even do. So think about what your name is. Think clearly. You don't overthink this, but just make it clear. Okay, I don't want you to get too hung up on the logo. Okay, so many people create a logo on Microsoft Word or some weird little Canva, and they're using terrible fonts, and it's just a really bad logo. And then you go and you slap it on your van, you make a bunch of logoed shirts out, and then you're kind of stuck with this logo because you just got 1,000 business cards with this logo on there. You put it on the website, and the logo a lot of times is not good. So pump the brakes a little bit on the logo. Just establish your business name, and then when we talk about logo and design, let's be really clear on, are you a design person? If not, I would suggest hiring somebody to make a logo for you. Okay, here's the thing. Running a business is going to cost money. So right now, before we get too in depth into this video, I want you to think clear and maybe think about it, take a step back, okay? Running a business costs money. So if you don't have a savings built up, if you aren't willing to take the risk of spending money to make money, maybe starting a business isn't for you. And maybe it's just not right now. So now, are you always going to have all the eggs in a row and it's going to be the right time and the sun's beaming through the clouds and this is the moment? Probably not. With business, you have to take a step of faith sometimes and take that risk. But with that great risk, there is great reward. So I'm just preparing you for this because there's going to be up and down seasons. And sometimes we can look, if we've been with a company for a long time and we want to step out and do our thing, we just look at the boss now. We don't look at the boss when he was grinding by himself. We don't look at the boss. We don't know like some of those back end numbers where he was barely making payroll. Like these are these moments and those things that like you don't see the glam. You just see the glam. You don't see the under the hood things that like sometimes are really scary. So I don't want to scare you off right now, but I just want you to know that when you run a business, you are going to have to spend money, and we'll be smart with our money, but we just know that you're going to have to spend money in order to make money. So going back to the logo, if you don't know design, I would suggest that you hire somebody. Hire someone for this logo. In this video, I will give in the comments different suggestions on people that you can use. We do have an agency as well that you can call us, and we can walk you through different things. This isn't a pitch for me, but I do want to help you out from the very beginning. So logo, I know it's exciting because you finally get a name, right? You get a name and now you're just going to go for it and you're going to get a logo. Just slow down a little bit on the logo, okay? Because once again, just like the confusing business name, then you look at the logo and you're like, that's really ugly. Or why did I use that font? Or wait, why is you're a painting company, but you have drips coming off the name? It's like, is that representative of what your company does? And then thinking about a clever business name, but then you think about it, it's like, that wasn't really clever. That's not really a good idea. So really clear business name and just slow down on the logo. I know you're excited about it because you're starting your business, but guess what? You don't actually need a logo to start your business. You just need a business name. Okay. So no matter where you're watching this video at, no matter the state, okay, different states require different things for different people, different trades. Some states you can go and start your business tomorrow and not even be certified, not have any testing done. You don't even need insurance. You don't need to be bonded. You can just start tomorrow. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to do that. No matter the state, no matter your state requirements, I want you to make sure that you are going above and beyond your requirements. Especially on the states that don't require anything, I want you to do the requirements that that are what a business would do if they would need requirements. And why do you say this, Ben? Okay. If you're in a state like, let's just say Texas, Texas doesn't have a lot of requirements, but you're going to an estimate and you're doing your best. You're trying to grow your business, trying to land customers. If you present a customer with your business card that has your license number and you can let them know that you're insured, you're bonded, what kind of peace of mind are you giving the homeowner? You're giving them great peace of mind that you actually care. You're not just some guy that's going to come in and steal their deposit, or you're not going to come in and just do a terrible job. No, you care. Like, hey, I care. I value you. I value this relationship, and it's letting you know that, hey, we're doing it the right way. So these other guys that you're getting, these other bids that you're getting, and they're not licensed, they're not insured, they're who knows if they even are going to show up after they get your deposit. With us, you can trust us. We're licensed, we're registered, we're bonded with the state. We have all the requirements. Even we go above and beyond here at this company. This little detail And a state that doesn't require it will set you apart with all the other guys that don't have any of it. So what I want you to do is look at what it is that you need to be licensed, insured, and bonded in your state. And you might say, well, that doesn't require anything. Well, then just get a license and whatever requirements that you need. Do the testing that you have to do, and just get certified through your state. This will set you apart with all your other competition. And you're going to now be attracting more higher end customers, meaning customers that have money, customers that aren't going to lowball you. There's nothing worse when you're just starting off and you're taking every job because you just need the work and you just need money to start coming in, and you start taking the low balling customers just because you're desperate and you need the work. I get it. I've been there. Trust me. When you when you need the work, you need the work, and sometimes you just have to sacrifice. But no, that sacrifice comes at a cost sometimes too. And those low balling customers typically are your most callbacks, the most picky, the most. I'm telling you can do the easiest, the greatest job, no matter what it is. I don't even care. Like, you're designing a wall, you're redesigning a bathroom, you're painting the whole whatever it is. The roof is just flawless. The lines are perfect everywhere. The tile, the grout is perfect. You clean that house amazingly, but that low balling customer will always find something. Now, sometimes they won't. I don't want to say everybody, but just know, if you went for the low balling customer just because you're desperate for work, it doesn't always end great. So setting yourself apart also sets yourself apart for getting the better customers that are high paying, and they value a good job. So if you're in a state that does require you to get a license, you to be insured, you to be doing testing. I know with the state that I'm in, it's very strict on everything. So, and it's every 2 years we have to do continued education. This is not a non-negotiable. There is nothing worse nothing worse of a feeling when you're doing a job and a state official rolls up to that job and to check license. And if you're not official, then you're going to get busted with fines. Now, there is a lot of different ways and things that you can do with your calendar, setting up reminders, doing the different things. No matter what state you're in, you can always Google and see the exact requirements for your state in order to start your business. But here's the thing, going back to the very beginning of this, I don't care what state you live in. I want you to get the highest requirement, the highest license for your specialty, whatever you're doing. I want you to be certified. I want you to take the classes. This will be, if you're not in a state that requires it, this will set you apart. And if you are in a state that requires it, this will protect you and your family from getting any kind of fines. And also, the guys that are also in your state that requires it, that are running around without the license, that are running around without the insurance. So this also sets you apart too, because once again, you can present that to the homeowner that we're licensed, we're insured, we're bonded. And then when they look you up with your straight state registration, then they can see all that. And this will give you peace of mind, give the homeowner peace of mind, and guess what? Licensed, insured, bonded. If the homeowner decides not to pay you, then you actually have a plan of action that you can go after them, not just the other way around, where they can go after you if you do a bad job or run away with their deposit. But suggesting that you are watching this video, you are trying to do things the right way. You are trying to be successful from the beginning. So these are the pointers and why I am doing this video, so that you can start 2026 the right way and do things the right way from the beginning, so that you're not struggling. Okay. So we've gone to your business name, you're registered in the state. And now you're going to do all the state requirements for your specialty, that whatever it is that you are doing. Okay. And now your insurance, and you have insurance and you're bonded. Once again, it costs money. I get it. I know, especially when you were saying, well, I'm going to say it doesn't require me. I know, I get it. But remember, business costs money, and to do it right, we need to do it right, and we need the license, insurance, and bonded. And we're doing all the proper testing. It all costs money. So yeah, just take your time and do it right. Okay, now that we have that squared away, we have our name registered with the state. We have our licensing. We're insured. We're bonded, and now we need to get an EIN number. And the EIN number is going to go through the state and for the IRS. And this is going to be so that whenever you do a form like a 1099, which is being subcontracted to like another contractor, and they have a form out, or if you're working for a designer or whoever's going to give you basically a little 1099 at the end of the year, that form is going to require an EIN number, also a bank account. So bank accounts need their EIN. And this, you can use your social security number, but you look more legit with an EIN, and then you don't have your social security number attached to all these paperwork too. So EIN, you just kind of look more official. Also, when you register your LLC, what I want you to do is not put your home address on there. There's different ways that you can not put your home address on there to kind of protect you from people just showing up at your house. This happened to me a long time ago. I had my LLC registered through our home address, and my wife was she was homeschooling our kids, gets a random knock on the door, and the Ring camera is going off with some like old guy, like kind of looked angry, just like she wasn't really sure. She called me, was like, do you know this guy? I said, I'm not really sure. I said, wait. I was like, then I looked at the camera, and I'm like, wait, I think I kind of know that guy. I was like, answer the door, kind of see who she doesn't answer the door if I'm not there, with like random dude just showing up. And so he literally was just there to drop off a deposit check for a job that we were going to start. And I'm like, how the heck did he even find my address? Because nothing's on like our estimates or nothing like that. It's not even on the business card. Like, so he looked us up through the state and found us and came to the house to drop off a deposit check. How random and weird, right? So this kind of protects you when you don't put your home address on your LLC. It's like one of those things that you don't even think about until this gets weird and you have a customer showing up and dropping off a check, I'm grateful that he dropped off a check, but protect your family, protect yourself, protect your assets. People don't need to know where you live. People sometimes do get weird. So, this little side note, make sure LLC, you do not put your home address on there. You can put PO box, you can take a virtual address, because the state does need to be able to send you different things. So they want like a physical address, they'll say, but you can do like a virtual address, PO box. If you're set up already with a office, then that's awesome too. Put that office on there. Just don't put your home address on there. Okay, we're registered. We have our LLC. We are licensed. We have our EIN number. We have a good, solid business name. We have our insurance. We're bonded. Now what? Now we're ready to go, right, Ben? We're ready to go to the next. We're ready to go land those jobs, right? No, not so fast. First of all, what I want you to do is pump the brakes. You're not ready yet. I mean, you're almost ready. You're almost there. That EIN number and the business name, once it's all registered and done, what I want you to do right now is go to the bank, and I want you to open up a bank account with your LLC. Start right from the beginning, okay? Like I said, when I first ran my first business, I did everything the wrong way, and I had to learn the hard way. This is one of those steps that you need to do it right away. Go get a business checking account for your business. And every single transaction that you run through your business is on your business card. Only business things, okay? Not you going shopping at the mall unless it's for your business, but most of the time it's not, unless you're going to the Apple store and you need your new iPads and MacBooks, okay? I mean, that's always a thing, but to go shopping and doing your thing and you're using your business card, you got to be careful with that, because then you're going to have to break down those transactions. So get in a really good habit from the beginning of whatever your business spends, goes on your business card, and whatever's personal stays on your personal card. Now, there's ways that you can pay yourself, and you can sign up to be an S corp, and then you can pay yourself a salary, or you can pay yourself back. There's all these different ways. And if what I just said right there is really confusing, that means the next step is that you need a CPA. You need something and someone to help you run your books from the beginning, before you even start a job, because once you get that deposit that comes in for that work so that you can get started, that money needs to start being tracked right away. It gets too complicated, and you can get too far down the road if you're not doing this right from the beginning. Ask me how I know. Oh, wait, that's right, because this is what I did when I first started my business. I had no experience. I was just winging it, right? And I was like, hey, I can do this. Let's go start a business. And started landing customers, was using the personal account. And then all of a sudden now we're trying to file for taxes and the first year, and then all these transactions had to be broken down and like, what was this one? And it was just super muddy. And then, so what I did that next year, I got my own bank account for the business. So do it right the first time. And then some great products out there like QuickBooks Online. I know like Stripe now has a lot of different things for like tax, breaking down your pay and transactions. QuickBooks is really great. QuickBooks Online is what we use. And then a lot of like CPAs are actually QuickBooks Online certified, so then they can have access to your QuickBooks, and then they can kind of go through all the numbers and see what your spend is like, and see if you need to go spend money or go buy a truck. And these are all the good things and the cool things. Like, oh, cool, I got to go buy a truck for a write-off. Like, you won't know those numbers if you're not tracking them. So the cool parts and the cool benefits of running your business are write-offs and being able to get a new truck, and I need a new hammer, I need a new saw, I need a new spray pump, whatever it is, right? I need to go spend this because I'm making too much money. Like, that's always really great problem to have, right? You're making so much money that you have to spend money to have write-offs, right? Here's the thing. If you don't know that because you're not tracking it, then you come to the end of the year and now you're going to owe a ton of money to the IRS because you weren't properly tracking anything and you weren't being responsible. So get a bank for your checking. If you need a credit card, if you had good credit, you can look into that. You probably don't need it right away, but if you need to for materials and stuff, then you can do that. And get a bank that's like for small businesses. Don't just like pick your first bank or the bank that you have checking. Like, actually do some research on banks in your area that care about small business and want to see you successful, and maybe have cool little loans and stuff that you can get, especially if you're running like bigger projects and you need, because cash, obviously they say cash is king. Well, like when you're running payroll and you're buying the materials, like cash goes pretty fast, and sometimes customers are slow to pay. So like having a bank that kind of has your back is important too. So do some research on that. And then I'm gonna say this again because it's very important to be successful. This is what we're talking about, right? To be successful right out of the gate. If you didn't go to school to be a CPA, a tax expert, your wife didn't do that, right? And a lot of people like shove it, like let their wife do it and just, oh, you can figure it out, you're smart. It's like, if she didn't go to school to be a CPA, that means you need to hire a CPA. I know it's another expense right off the bat. You don't need them right away because you haven't started yet, but just know that like starting in QuickBooks, getting set up with somebody that can walk you through that is like vital to the success of your business. So making sure you find a CPA. Now, CPA, sometimes I don't really care about you. You have to, so there's like a definition of a CPA. There's two different kinds of CPAs. One, the CPA that works for the IRS, and the other CPA that works for you. most of the CPAs that you're going to find will work for the IRS. So they don't think about write-offs, and they don't think about like how you can write things off. They just strictly numbers. You can't do that. No. But then there's other CPAs that actually work for you that say like, oh yeah, you can write off that vacation, or yeah, you can write off that truck. So make sure you kind of do your research on your CPA as well. Another one to do is like a tax strategist, especially as you start making money. And then just start doing your research on that now. Maybe you don't need it right this second because you're just starting your business. But these are some things that I want you to write down. And like I told you from the beginning, if you save this video, then you can go back, you can come back and watch. And now that you started making money, then we can come back to this little tax strategist section of this video, and then you can say, oh, that's right, now I'm making money, I should probably talk to somebody about, because there's nothing worse, guys, there's nothing worse than having to pay thousands of dollars in taxes at the end of the year. You killed it, you had a great year, and then now your reward is to pay tens of thousands of dollars in taxes without even anything to show for it. Sometimes it feels like you're like, wait, I didn't even get a truck. I didn't do anything. I just worked my butt off the whole entire year, and now I have to pay all this money. So there's different things that tax strategist can show you, different write-offs. It's cool. The cool thing about having a business is that you can have write-offs and do different cool things, but you need to track it. So I know I feel like I'm just kind of, what they could say, beating a dead horse, but this is super important. And it's like the literal health of your business is to know your numbers. Because this also comes back to knowing your numbers in business, right? So it's like, yeah, you did a job, let's say for 10 grand, but what was your actual profit? What was the bottom line? What did you actually net in that? And through QuickBooks, there's a lot of times they can break down different charts for you to actually see the cost of materials. If you had employees, how much that cost you. QuickBooks also helps you with like tax things, state quarterly stuff, depending on your state that you live in too. So super helpful tips. Okay. Now, before we go into getting customers, I want you to set this up right now. Okay, so we did these other two steps. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look legit. Because here's the problem when you are doing the business by yourself and you're not like a marketing company, you're not these franchises that have all this stuff in order. They have all these things and these call centers and all this stuff, right? You're just a dude in a truck and you're just trying to make a good living for your family, right? Here's what I want you to do to separate and to compete with these guys that have estimators and they have all these project managers. I need you to find a software. You're like, oh shoot, another expense. Yes, another expense. Why? Because this is going to make you look legit out of the gate. Okay, the way of the tape measure and one of these handwritten. This is 2026. We're not handwriting anything and giving it to a homeowner. We're not handwriting anything and giving it to the homeowner. Everything is documented either through email or on your software that you're going to get. There's so many softwares out there, estimating softwares, project managing softwares, some that are combined to both, that you kind of need to go through and pick your best one. I'll probably make another video kind of breaking down the softwares that are out there today, but we're just getting started. We need something. You need something that shows you that you're a little bit more legit, that you're not just the guy that's just starting and just kind of rolling up and hoping for the best. Now, the ways of the tape measure and writing stuff down, that was like my dad. That was the old timers. And maybe you're an old timer and you're starting your own thing and you can kind of get away with it because like they just look at you and you're older and say, oh yeah, this guy's trustworthy. But most of the time, your competition has some kind of form of a software that they're using that presents the estimate in a really nice way. And some of them don't even look that good, but still the homeowner can click a link. It opens up all the things they talked about through the estimate. It's on there. It's clear. Some of them have like little option buttons they can push. The cost is broken down nice. Is that you're not just showing up to the house and saying like, "Oh yeah, I can do this roof for 8,500." It's you're not just like throwing random numbers out there. You're using that software and it's showing the homeowner that you're taking that extra step and you're not just guessing. Um, so many times I've heard homeowners say that like, man, so I'll have a little laser and we'll measure and different steps like that. And like, oh man, you're really taking your time and measuring and doing it right. It's like, yeah, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page so that too when my guys show up or I show back up or you're looking over this bid and comparing it to other bids, that like it's apples to apples and the apples to oranges. So it's always just a good little pitch that you can give to, especially with the guy that either just writes out an email and sends a quote or has a handwritten quote that they hands the homeowner where you send a nice presented estimate over to them. You're setting yourself apart and you're setting yourself up with the bigger guys that have been established for a bit that have all these things. So it could be a little bit overwhelming for looking at softwares and different things, especially if you're not really tech savvy, but they're getting so much better out there that you could find a really good software. And then your numbers, so depending on what you do, you can add in all your little tasks and your materials and the cost of materials and how much you want to mark up so that everything is dialed in and that you start out of the gate successful, looking the part as well too. Okay. So now that we've established that kind of the back end office stuff of you looking legit, being legit, and actually just being legit. So now we're going to need customers. So what are we going to do? The first thing that I want you to do is get on social media. I want you to make a business social media account for Instagram, and I want you to make a business one for Facebook. And if you want to do TikTok, you can do that as well. But sometimes if you're not a social media person, then this is going to be painful. I'm going to say it again. This is going to be painful if you're not a social media person. But what I want you to do is film yourself doing the thing. You've all seen it. You've all seen the TikTok videos, the Instagram reels of the guy doing the thing, and it just looks cool, right? Especially if you do that thing and like, yeah, that guy, or you have the opinion because they're doing it wrong, or you would do that way, or whatever, right? We all see the comments, right? That's amazing. Or the next comment's like, yeah, you suck. So what I want you to do is start filming yourself doing the thing and start promoting it on social media. You don't have to buy a fancy camera. Not yet. Because nowadays the phones, they work great. So an iPhone, the new Androids, the Google phones, the cameras, they're good enough. And so we don't need necessarily the Meta glasses. And now if you want to go, if you are already like a social media kind of person and you get it, then getting the Meta glasses on, setting up the GoPro, having a time lapse, or using your phone, having an actual like a little more legit camera, that's always great too. Because there's always companies out there too that can come and film and have some B-roll. But right away, when you're just starting off, you don't necessarily need that. But you do need some kind of presence. Now, the biggest thing that most people miss is the before and after photos. Like those pictures alone, those speak 1,000 words without even having to do a video. Literally just, if you're a painter, the before picture, the after picture, because the transformation of that picture, people love it. Or you are a painter and you're rolling out the wall and then you change, it's like a dramatic color change. Well, people love watching that stuff. They love seeing it. You get thousands and thousands of views. And there's ways to kind of break down social media of like really targeting your area. And this is a great way to kind of get yourself out there. And then it lets your friends and family know also that what you're doing. So this goes to the next step of marketing and referrals. If you're already starting to plant seed on social media, then all your friends and family are going to see you out there doing the thing. Oh, cool. So-and-so started a business, and you can start taking those work and start taking the referrals. And that's when you can start a referral program on your social media to all your friends and your family, right? So now you're doing your posting, and you can say like, hey, I'm just starting my business, and anybody that refers me to your friends or family, I will give you X amount of dollars. Now, you're going to have to figure this out for yourself because I don't know your business and how your margins. But do it to where like it actually like you would refer somebody because they're actually going to hook you up. You know what I mean? So don't do $50 to somebody. Now, obviously, if you're doing carpet cleaning and it's a little bit lower margins, then I get it. But if you're doing something that's painting a house or a roof or whatever, like give somebody like $100. Like, oh, what? I get $100 for referring a friend. Like that ain't that's easy, right? Because they're already their friends. They get in the circles. So starting a referral based program through your business and promoting it in social media, this is great because right now you don't really have any emails. So and some of these, as you start establishing your customer base, then you can get into some CRMs and do some pumping of some advertising through that. But right now you're just starting, so you need to get customers, you need to get things rolling. Now, people like we go back to spending money. Okay, we're gonna go back to it. I know. But to get started and to get customers, sometimes you have to spend on Home Advisors, Angie's List, Yelp, Thumbtack, Google Ads. There's so many platforms nowadays, and it can get really expensive. And your slip rate, which means the customers that don't actually respond to you, or you get their number and then you just nothing. It's called a slip rate. It could be incredibly high and painful as the homeowner, as the owner of the business, and you see thousands go out and nothing came back in return. It hurts. I get it. But sometimes these are these little sacrifices that we're going to have to make in the beginning, just to get our name out there. And then you want to start getting those reviews, because reviews are the thing that you need to be successful, especially on Google and Yelp and Home Advisors and all the different platforms. People need to see the reviews. And so doing things for family, for reviews, like trying to just kind of get out there, get the rhythm going. You can even give people a little bit of a discount to get like a 5-star review. Obviously, make sure you're doing 5-star work, because that always helps as well too. But the goal with marketing is that you're not spending on Angie's List for your whole entire time running a business. The goal is that when you finally reach a point in your business to where your phone's ringing without having to spend on Angie's or Google Ads or whatever, these sponsored things that cost you thousands of dollars, it's like the beautiful moment of business when you finally it feels like you finally arrived. Like, dude, this year on ad spend, we spent this a couple grand. Last year we spent 5-10 grand. That moment when you're as a business owner and don't have to spend on ads, like it's like the most beautiful thing. So when you're spending on ads, it's typically that for that 1, 2, 3 years, you should see like a heavy spend, especially as you're getting your name out there and just at the at bats. Because if you think about it too, right? Like, you're estimating for the first time, and now it's all on you, and you might have it's called a sales breath, where it's like you're desperate for the sale because like this is my job now and I don't get paid if I don't land this job. So sometimes you can come off with a sales breath. So it's like learning those tactics, especially if you lose bids and you thought you had it but somebody came and swooped in there and stole the job from you. These are those moments you can reflect and learn. And so getting so a lot of times with Angie's and Yelps, you'll get a ton of estimate opportunity, and that way you can just get better and better, and then you start landing them, and then obviously then that is helpful too, because then that spend is getting covered by jobs that you're actually landing. So hopefully in year 3, year 4, you start seeing that trend of paying these other companies for getting leads down. And then you might go back up if you get to a certain point where you're hiring more people again, and now you have estimators, and now you have more employees, and now you want to keep pumping work. Then you might see that trend go back up. But hopefully you've established your name in a really great way in the community, that like now you're just you're one of those top 5 people that people call. And so that's obviously the ultimate goal, is that you establish yourself in the community as the go-to person, because they see you on social media, they see all your Google reviews, they see all the Yelp reviews, all the reviews on Angie's and Facebook and wherever else, and you just have established yourself well. And in doing that, you will position yourself into being able to spend more and grow more, or just kind of sustain where you're at and just have a really solid like business of, maybe you just enjoy doing the thing and you hire a couple guys and that's it. So that is for marketing, referrals, social media. Social media is painful for a lot of people. I get it. But just get really comfortable and just get the awkwardness out of the way and just film yourself. Maybe even just take the phone out and just have a conversation with yourself. And it's weird, it's awkward, I get it. But this will truly help you and it'll set you apart, especially in your community too. Okay, so this next step is optional, but also if you want to be successful, if you've never started a business before, I would highly recommend this next step. So coaching and mentorship. Now, there's no shortcuts to business. There's not. Like I give you all these steps and hopefully this will help you kind of set you up right. But at the end of the day, like you still have to go out and estimate the job. You have to land, you have to learn sales, and that takes reps, that takes time. You might have a bad job and you learned that like, well, I gotta fix that, right? But coaching and mentorship, what it does is that shortcut is shortened because you're listening to somebody that's been there before. Now, I'm not promoting myself, but we do have a coaching service. But this is not what this video is for. I will have the description and the link below if you want to set up a call and see if we'd be a good fit, because like I said in the beginning, I've been there before. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars and I've also gained, at millions. So, it just kind of, you can't do business. Okay. Let me say it like this. My greatest unlock in business is when I hired a coach. And then from that, it just like unlocked so many things in my brain and the way I was thinking. It like just changed my perspective, because when you're running your own business and you're in the weeds, as they say, it's tough to see the horizon. It's tough to see different angles, especially when you're maybe having a tough job and you just don't see a way out. Like having a coach, having a mentor, and giving you those pointers to like look at another way, especially when there's no strings attached. They don't have strings attached in your business. Like sometimes you can be so emotional because everything financially is wrapped up in your business. Well, the coach is that person that's like not. The coach isn't wrapped up financially in that business, right? So being able to see things from a different lens, because they're not so in the weeds with you. They can look at, hey, try it like this, do it like this. Have you considered this? So whether you talk to us or not, it's totally on you. But I would suggest that you find somebody that you like. And this will catapult you into like a further along position than having to learn things the hard way. There's not a successful CEO or business owner that doesn't have a coach or didn't have a coach at one point. If you do find one, it's taken them, and they'll tell you, if they're honest, years to get to where they're at. And they could have skipped so much heartache, so much pain if they would have just had a coach, had a mentor. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you can't afford it, or whatever the situation might be. I would also suggest that you get in podcasts for business. Now, here's the thing with the podcast for business, guys, is you need to find a couple voices that you like, and then everyone else kind of put the other noise aside. Meaning, everybody has an opinion in business. And if you're listening to one guy and it's like, oh man, that's so good. And then listen to this girl, oh man, that's so good. And then this guy, and oh man, that's so good. But they're all kind of saying different things. So it's like you are kind of bouncing back and forth and aren't clear in your direction and where you're supposed to be going. So find somebody that you can really connect with. that really just like speaks to your soul. That person, or maybe two people, three people, listen to their podcast, grab their books. This is another way that you can be bettering yourself, is that you are listening and always getting better. We've never arrived. We're always learning. We're always getting better. Because it goes back into like when you're in the weeds doing the thing, it's a lot harder sometimes to see the bigger picture, especially when you get the bills and the payroll and the taxes and everything's just coming at you at once. Listening to like a book to help you kind of see a thing from a different direction, or even think bigger sometimes. I think most time we can get comfortable in doing the thing and we kind of like are stuck there, but the coach, the mentor, the podcast, the book can help you see something differently and see bigger and think bigger. And I think that's where, for me, that was one of my biggest, I've always kind of thought big, but then just never known really how to get there. Then you get a coach to kind of show you the way and you're like, oh my gosh. And it just like unlocks something in your brain. And then now you're set up for success, you know, down the line. So make sure if you don't have a coach, you don't have a mentorship, that's fine. You can do things the hard way and figure things out, but at least get yourself a book, some books, business leadership books, and then podcasts. Listen to podcasts. You need to be feeding yourself with things. Things and with people that think bigger and are doing big things, so that you don't get stuck with that silly small mindset. Most stuff is like mindset anyways, right? Most people get stuck in their mindset, or because you start doing a couple of jobs, so you might get jaded because of the customer or the market, and then you're just stuck now. Then you kind of are in this little rut, and you don't necessarily always have to be stuck there. Especially if you have a coach, mentor, pull you out, or listening to a podcast that really inspires you and kind of gets you unlocked and gets you out of there. So, what we have established is we're getting qualified. We're getting legit. 100%. We are legit. We are, no matter the state, no matter where you're at, you're getting 100% legit in your business. And going back to that point is think about the value of your company. If you're growing your company and you're doing a really great job, you got hundreds of reviews, all these trucks and these vans, somebody might want to come and buy that business from you one day. Which, I mean, if somebody wants to offer you $a few million for your business, like, by all means. Or you want to pass down something to your kids so that they can start off good, right? Well, you need to toss them keys to something that's actually legit. If you toss them keys to something that's all jacked up, well, you're setting them up for failure right from the beginning, and then they're going to be frustrated and it's not going to be good. So having everything legit from the beginning is going to protect you as well, from the beginning. So now we're legit, and being legit means that we're tracking all of our numbers. So we're using QuickBooks, we're using some kind of form of software to track our spend, track our numbers. We have our registered bank account with for our business, checking, savings if you need. And now we're looking into a CPA, a potential tax strategist, to help us see things and to be able to spend accordingly and save accordingly. And now you're getting awkward and you're filming yourself in social media, doing the thing, you're talking to the camera. You're a business owner. Business owners think differently. Business owners are confident. And to be a successful business owner, you need to be confident. You don't need to be timid. You don't need to be shy. You need to be bold and get out there, get that camera, film yourself today, make a reel, and just don't be shy. Because if you're a shy business owner, you're not going to be in business for very long. Marketing and referrals, hopefully your marketing spend isn't forever and not for thousands, unless you're trying to grow and go to the next level, then obviously that's a whole different story. But for right now, as you're just starting, have a budget, and that will help you also kind of keep on track too. You're not just wildly spending money in marketing and realizing that you spent, I think one year we spent $100,000 It was a little over $100,000 on Angie's and Yelp. And I didn't even realize how much we were spending. Like, this is what I'm talking about, because nothing was tracked. And then I did started doing all the numbers. I'm like, good night. We spent over $100,000 in advertising. And that year we did really well. I think we did almost a million. We did like 850 or something like that. But still, it's like, I probably could have shut some of those ads off, and this, because we were so busy that there's pointless spending, right? So having everything tracked and then knowing kind of your budget and setting budgets for your marketing is very important and will save you lots of money. And then obviously mentorship, coaching, highly recommend it. It's a total game changer. Don't just follow somebody or find somebody or just believe me, but like, do some research on it. Sit down and have, like, little one-on-ones and see if you can jam with that person and see what they can unlock. Here's the biggest thing that I would tell you for hiring a coach or a mentorship. As this, in the world of coaching, it's called gatekeeping, and a lot of times you'll see coaches and mentors like gatekeep, and they won't tell you anything until you pay them. Find the guy that's like giving out free game all the time, because then it's like, well, bro, if he's giving me this free game for free, then what's he gonna tell me if we pay and have a partnership together? Those are the kind of people that I want you to be looking out for. Um, and if that's not your jam right now, remember, books, podcasts, learn, grow. Just it. Business is fun. Business is scary. Business can make you a lot of money. Business can cost you a lot of money. But setting things up right from the beginning is going to be just a breath of fresh air. And you can thank me later. You can send me a comment. You can send me an email thanking me for just this video, as it saves you time, saves you different things as well. Here's a little bonus for you as well. As we kind of talked about all these things, I just thought about this. So I want to make sure that I tell you this. When you when you set up your software for estimating and you give somebody a bid, I want you to have a contract. I don't know why I didn't tell you this in the beginning. So if you're still listening to this video, now you're getting a little bonus material, because this is so important. If you are doing any kind of work for anybody, I need you to set up a contract stating you do this, 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 this. If the homeowner doesn't do the X, Y, Z, because of what, I don't know exactly what you're doing right for your business. So you need to be very clear on what you're doing and what you're responsible for and what the homeowner's responsible for. For instance, if you're a painting company and you get inside and you said in your contract that all the furniture needs to be removed away from the walls, pictures off the walls, 3 feet, whatever your diameter is, they need to do that. They need to follow through. So if you show up to do the work and it's not done, then they get bumped out of the schedule. Like, remember, you signed, because then they signed the bid, and that means they agreed upon your terms. Same if you go on the outside and you're trying to do the roof and they got trees hanging over on the roof, and on your contract stated all trees, bushes need to be removed from the building X amount of feet, whatever your reasoning is, clearly stated. Then guess what? They're responsible for removing it, and then they get bumped on the schedule. They can't complain to you because they signed the contract that stated all the details that you put. So you can go on ChatGPT and kind of jam with ChatGPT about contracts. I know in Google you can look at different things. There's like not really an excuse anymore not to have like a solid contract. And guess what? That contract of yours will change every time a job gets weird and customer gets weird, or there's like a little loophole. Next job, that goes in the contract. Ask me how I know how our contract now is 2 pages long, because of all the crazy things that randomly happen where you think you might have everything squared away, and then what? Next thing you know, you get some random customer and some random job. Well, guess what? Next time, That's going in the contract. So the next customer, so it's like 2 pages, like good. So I've even had some customers like, wow, that's really detailed. It's like, yeah, crazy things happen, and like I'm just trying to protect you and trying to protect me, and that's as simple as that. And they respect that. Customers respect that, and because it's clearly stated what you're going to do and what they're responsible for, what you're responsible for. On that same note of the same little vein here, little bonus material. Legal Shield has monthly memberships that you can get for your business and for personally. I would suggest that you do both, but especially for your business. Legal Shield will, for your business, will send out, they can actually look over this contract that you have and make sure it's all legit, like legally. And that's for free, other than the monthly membership, but you can send it to them and they can look it over. It's included in the membership. If you have a client that is feeling like they don't want to pay, Legal Shield can send them a legal document stating that that customer that needs to pay, or they'll get a lien and all that kind of stuff, right? Going back to why you need to be legit with all your licensing and all the stuff. If the customer doesn't pay, then you can put a lien on their house. If you're not legit, then you can't put a lien in their house, and then you're just kind of out of luck with that. But if you're legit, now you can put a lien on their house if the customer doesn't want to pay. And Legal Shield can help you with that. They could send a letter to that customer and try to like kind of speed up this payment process of like what's going on. People sometimes get a little bit weird. You'll learn as a business owner, you'll kind of get a feeling when you're doing an estimate for somebody or chart. And then it's kind of, for me, it starts in the estimate. You're kind of like, I don't know about this person. As you start doing a ton of estimates, then you'll understand, and you start landing the jobs and doing the job for the person. You're like, oh yeah, yep, I was right about this person. So it's just hard lessons you have to learn, but Legal Shield can help you with all this kind of stuff, and they can actually get the payments to you faster. And then if it does go to escalation where it's court and all that, you have an attorney already in your pocket, like with retainer and stuff too, because obviously legal fees cost a lot of money. And that's something that as a business, we sometimes can't afford and don't want to afford, but having Legal Shield does help. So that's a little pointer that I had to learn on a very hard job. And afterwards, I had to find something to help me, the small guy, the business owner, and I found Legal Shield. This isn't a promo for them, but hey, I want to help you guys out and to be successful right away. So having something to have your back as a contractor, as a home service provider, having like sometimes it feels like, depending, especially on your state, that there's nothing really out there to protect us. So having some of these steps, contract, Legal Shield, or some sort of like attorney on retainer, these kind of things definitely help you, and then will hold up in court as well too. So I hope this video was extremely helpful. Like I said, save this video so that you can come back and watch it. Send me a comment. You can follow me on Instagram as well. Send me a DM on Instagram if you have any questions. I'd love to set up a call with you to see if we'd be a good fit for one-on-one coaching, or if we needed just another just kind of advice for business, and different ideas and suggestions and ways to get unstuck. Let me know. Send me a comment. I gladly will help you out on that. I hope you are successful in your business, and I hope you kill it right from the beginning. See you next time.